Hey, welcome back to the Old Gravy Podcast. It's been a while. I'll explain why in a minute. But today I have a very interesting guest today with me. His name is Doug Mackey. And just going to give you a quick, brief background, and then I'm going to have Doug come on to the podcast. But and he's going to explain it in detail once we get going. So Doug is a young man, was charged by the Biden Department of Justice in 2021 for sending memes back in 2016 when Trump was running against Hillary. And basically, they were joking images, texts out on Twitter that said, vote for Hillary and don't wait in line. And this spoof of memes that he sent created a firestorm in his life. And we're going to have Doug on to tell us exactly what went down. And if you want to talk about, this is a free speech. You want to talk about deep state coming after you. You don't need Jeffrey Epstein or the Mossad or anything like that. Doug Mackey lived a real deep state, what would you call it, prosecution. That's exactly what you would call it. But we're going to get to that in a minute. I got to cover a little bit of business. But first I was going to tell you why I haven't dropped a lot of podcasts. I've been doing a lot of fill-in radio work on Philadelphia 1210 WPHT. And I've been guest hosting, for the last year or so. And it's kind of cooled a little bit of my podcast, but I plan to drop a lot more. I've been doing a regular show at Saturday on 8 a.m. at 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia. I fill in for the Rich Zeoli show, which is the evening drive from 3 to 7. You might know Rich Zeoli. He's on Fox News. He's a pundit. He's done Mark Levin's show. So not only have I substituted for Rich Zeoli, but a lot of people have asked me, how at this point in my career did I get involved in podcasting and becoming a political broadcaster on a talk show? Well, thanks to Rich Zeoli. He was the guy. Me and him became friends. And one day he said, you should do a podcast. I think I could get you in radio. And that's exactly what happened. A lot of people have asked, so I figured I'd let you know before I get into this podcast. Okay. Today's show, I want to tell you who the sponsor is. It's Plaza Grande in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. If you're not 55, you will wish you were. Have you been dreaming of a maintenance-free country club lifestyle in a stunning residence? Look no further than the Plaza Grande in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. For those people in South Jersey, that's the old racetrack. There's luxury 1 and 2 bedroom rental residences, a community with wonderful amenities, restaurants, retail shopping. It's all at your fingertips. Dive into the pristine swimming pools, take a stroll into the nearby stores, tons of activities, pools, movies, mahjong, bingo, you name it, they have it. So go to PlazaGrandeCherryHill.com. That's PlazaGrandeCherryHill.com. So joining me in studio is Doug Mackey. And Doug Mackey went on a wild ride. There's no doubt about that. So I want you to remember a timeline here. This wild ride starts in 2016, and it really starts in 2021. Basically, 2016, Hillary versus Trump, and then in 2021, after Trump loses to Biden, this is when Doug's world blows up. So, Doug, welcome to the studio. It's great to have you.
Thanks, Tom. Great to be here.
I want to, you know what, Doug, this, I'm gonna give everybody a little bit more background. So, basically, you know what, Doug, why don't you give the background? You were arrested by the FBI in Florida in 2021. That's correct, right?
Correct.
Okay, so give us a little bit of the background on what happened in 2000. What did you do in 2016 that in 2021 the FBI comes knocking at your door? What happened?
Yeah, so I happened to be on this wild ride called the Trump train back in 2016 as a account on Twitter, going under a pseudonym, sort of a lark or a gag, Ricky Vaughn.
Ricky Vaughn, that's Charlie Sheen.
Our friend Charlie Sheen from the movie Major League.
Yeah.
Wild Thing.
Yeah.
And so California Penal League. But anyway, so this account that I was running was posting all kinds of memes and links and all kinds of jokes, but also news about the Trump campaign at this time in 2016.
Yep.
Now, I would a lot of times go online and see if I couldn't scrounge up memes to share with followers on Twitter, because this account had become very large.
And in 2016, the politics of Twitter, it was starting to heat up, right? It's like, obviously today it's even a whole different ecosystem. It's a lot bigger. It's more important. 2016, though, the political establishment was taking notice of Twitter, obviously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. And they didn't want to, but they had to.
Right.
This really took off during the primaries, and obviously President Trump was the main accelerant of it with his Twitter account.
Oh, that's right. He was that. Okay, so now Trump is running for president. 2016, he's drawing the attention of everybody. Okay.
This is sort of the battering ram against the establishment.
Yes.
So so my account had grown very large by October, and it had almost over 62,000 followers.
That's a lot in 2016. Today that might be 600,000.
Absolutely, or 6 million.
Or 6 million, whatever.
It's grown so much, but back then that was a lot, and a lot of people would be looking at the account. Not even logged in, so I was getting like a lot of just views, because they count the views every time when someone looks at your profile. It's 7 million a month or something.
Wow,
which was huge. If that was a website, it would be a huge website.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know is that they didn't like that my account was getting so much attention.
Right.
So it was suspended in October of 2016.
So it was suspended in October before the election, and how long was it suspended for?
Permanently at the time.
Okay, so you've done the memes prior to this.
No, this was after, believe it or not.
Okay, so they suspended. Well, that would make sense. That means you're getting a big following. You do the memes about Hillary.
Yeah.
Describe the memes to the audience.
So what happened is after my account got suspended, I came right back and made a new account.
Okay.
Which gained about 12 or 14,000 followers.
Okay.
Smaller, but still kind of a wild following, a rabid following, let's say. But on this account, I found some memes that I thought were funny.
Yeah.
That were spoofing the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Right.
And there's a picture of there's actually two memes in particular. And these pictures, they just had pictures of, middle-aged women. One was black, one was Hispanic. And it said, avoid the line, vote from home, text Hillary to 59925, or one of those short codes.
Right.
5-digit short codes.
And where would that code go?
Now, at the time, I had no idea, but it ended up going just to some random company in California.
Okay. So anyone who
into the ether,
it just went in. It went out into the internet universe to nothing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this account, this tweet, and there were two. There was a second one that was in Spanish, so this was funny. I posted these at the end of October.
Right.
And so this got picked up by a sort of internet busybody. Professor from Tulane, or it might have been actually Loyola in Chicago, who complained to Twitter, "Oh, look at this! This is horrible. These people are trying to trick voters."
Right.
Now, at this point, Twitter. The funny thing is, Twitter actually said, "There's nothing illegal. There's nothing against our rules for this meme."
Yeah.
He complained straight to Jack Dorsey, who ran Twitter.
Okay.
And the account was suspended before anyone really saw the memes.
Really? So these memes barely got out. I remember hearing a number like there was 4,500 sent, which
that's true.
But in the Twitter universe, that's nothing.
It's true, but there were, and this was the New York Times headline: 4,900 Democrats tricked. Well, nothing of the sort actually happened.
Okay.
This meme was picked up from this professor. It was even on CNN.
Right.
Wired magazine.
Yep.
And maybe BuzzFeed or something like that.
Okay.
So all these people saw it on these news outlets. They texted the meme just to see what would happen.
Right.
So that's when the 4,900 people texted the meme, was after my account was already suspended.
Okay. Got it.
The government, and so my account was suspended. We all know what happened. Trump won the election. He was president for the next 4 years.
Right.
So now 2 days after, so Trump obviously lost the election or had it stolen from him, however way you want to look at it, in 2020.
Right.
And what happened is,
but let's not get to 220. I want to ask you a question. If we
absolutely.
go back, so after 2016, so you've been suspended before the election even occurred. 4,500 people might have seen it, but not necessarily from you because you've already been thrown off Twitter. What happens like soon after Donald Trump wins? So what if we just go through, because there's going to be, and I want the listeners to know this, it will be another four years before they come to arrest you.
Exactly.
So what goes on in the 4 years under Trump? Are you being doxxed or people looking for you because they don't know your real identity because you got Charlie Sheen from the movie. You got his identity. Okay. So explain what happens in those 4 years.
Exactly. So that's important. In 2018, I was doxxed by the Huffington Post. They said this person was running the Ricky Vaughn account in 2018. Did I say 2016? 2018 in the spring.
Yeah.
I was doxxed for running this Ricky Vaughn account, even though I was barely even active anymore. I had some little accounts.
But people are still interested in it.
People are still interested.
They're still interested, meaning this is the left saying this person would try to insurrect an election with this stupid meme that they were still interested in 2018. Have you gotten any legal notifications or anything?
Not at that point in 2018.
Okay.
Now I'll go back before. MIT ran this study in spring of 16.
Yep.
And they said, oh, these are the top Twitter influencers influencing the election. Now, mind you, this was before the primaries were even over.
Right.
So there was a smaller universe of people interested.
Right.
However, they put me at about 109 of the top 200 influencers on Twitter regarding the election. They measured it out by retweets or likes or whatever. And so this was like a big talking point. You know, this was the top 150. Oh, more popular than Stephen Colbert, let's say.
Right.
Of course, they're just measuring tweets, not the actual show.
Right.
But this becomes part of the narrative further down the road when the government says this guy was influencing the election. He was more popular than Stephen Colbert.
Right.
4,900 Democrats were tricked.
Right.
Which they didn't even allege because it never happened. The New York Times misinterpreted it.
Right.
And so this was an important context. So because my account was viewed as influential, and they were very angry, of course, that Trump won the election.
Yeah.
And going after everybody who helped him, Roger Stone, Paul Manafort.
Right.
And
you're a target.
I became a target, just like the Trump family.
Yeah,
was a target.
You became a target, and I mean, when you become a target like that, the truth, or like no one even knows that you were thrown off Twitter.
Yeah.
And okay, so what happened? So that's around 2018.
2018. Well, I can give you one more little tidbit.
Yeah.
In 2017, Senator Klobuchar had blown up this meme and put it on the Senate floor of committee.
So she reignited.
She was wagging her finger saying, this is a federal crime, this is a felony, blah, blah, blah. And I believe she was haranguing the FBI about it.
Right.
So fast forward 1 year later, I get doxxed by Huffington Post.
Yeah.
They say this guy was running the Ricky Vaughn account.
Right.
And around that time, I moved down to Florida. Basically, for like many people, maybe grew a little tired of the Northeast. I had lived in New York City for 6-7 years. Before that, I was in Vermont for most of my youth, not all of it. And so I moved down to Florida. Now, fast forward 6 months, October 2018, after I got doxxed, I get a knock on the door at 7 a.m. before I'm about to leave for work.
Right.
I get a knock on the door at 7 a.m. FBI, we want to ask you some questions.
Okay.
But, of course, you know how they operate. They don't ask you about the meme. They say, we want to ask you some questions about this guy you know.
Okay.
Right?
Because this is leading that they're trying to tie you into some type of conspiracy.
Exactly.
Correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Go ahead.
And they don't want to come out and say, we're investigating you for this meme.
They're investigating someone else.
They're trying to trick you into talking to them.
And is there 1 or 2 FBI agents in 2018?
Yeah, 2 ladies had flown all the way down from New York.
Okay. So
2 ladies.
And where are they interviewing you?
They tried to interview me here in, I was living at the time in Boynton Beach, Florida.
Okay. They want to interview you right on the spot.
They want to interview me right on the spot.
Okay.
And I tell them, look, I really want to be cooperative here.
Right.
whether or not that was true.
Right.
Or I really want to be go. Really, what I want to do is say, hey, call my lawyer.
Right.
Which I didn't have one at the time.
Right.
So I said, oh, I really got to go to work, so I'll talk to you after work.
Okay.
While I was at work, talked around to some friends. He said, yeah, call this guy for a lawyer. Called the guy, took down his number, and I met the the FBI agents at like a Applebee's parking lot or something after work. I gave him the information and said, gee, I'd really love to talk to you, but here, talk to my lawyer.
Okay. Well, let me tell you something. That's a very good move.
Absolutely.
I was raised by a New York cop, and as a kid, I'd be eating my Captain Crunch, and he'd be telling me and my brothers, like, you ever get locked up, you don't say anything till I get there. And I'd always be like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like why? If I didn't do anything, and he'd look at me and say, you'll probably be the one that get locked up, so you better listen to what I say. So anyway, I'm very impressed because there's a lot of people like Martha Stewart.
Right.
You start talking, and they will build a case against
Absolutely.
you, even if you're not really guilty of what they're saying you're guilty of.
Absolutely.
So I do give you kudos for that because it's very intimidating.
Yeah.
When two FBI agents come up and flash their badge at you. So
It's
what do
crazy. It's very intimidating.
What do they say when you say, "Well, here, contact my attorney"?
Yeah, they just said, "Oh, okay, thank you," or whatever it was. I mean, they were probably disappointed. I mean, my understanding is usually they've already built a case, and they're just trying to get you to incriminate yourself to make their case even stronger.
Right, and they're doing their job.
They're doing their job. Yeah. That's what they're supposed to do.
That's what they're supposed to do.
That's what they're supposed to do. I mean, I have some information that these ladies were sort of part of, like, let's say, a squad hunting down Trump supporters.
Right.
A sort of witch hunt, but hopefully we'll learn more about that in the future when we're going to be working with the DOJ to uncover this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there at the time.
Okay.
So I gave them my information to the attorney, who is sort of a legendary Palm Beach criminal defense attorney at the time. However, what I didn't realize that he's pretty old. He's past his prime.
Right.
So he was unfortunately in the early stages of dementia. So they called him up, and he kind of like forgot about the whole thing. So I never heard back from the FBI after that.
Okay, so it goes quiet.
I try to call the lawyer. He's kind of like doesn't know what's happening. So I'm like, okay, it's gone quiet.
Okay.
Now, I know that, unfortunately, if they want to come after you, like Chuck Schumer said, they have 6 waves from Sunday.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that I committed any crimes just by posting stuff on the internet that wasn't a threat, that was not false or like fraudulent, tricking people out of money or anything like that. This was just a meme that was a parody, a satire.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe that anybody actually lost their vote. I thought the whole thing was absurd. And how could anybody take this seriously? Yeah. Of course, we'll get into it later on what actually happened when they try to twist that around.
Right.
So I wasn't thinking anything was going to happen. However, I do know, hey, if they want to make a case, they can make a case somehow, some way.
Right. Now, so once you say go, it all quiets down.
It all quiets down.
Now, what are you thinking in 2018 or 2019 going into 2000?
Yeah.
Are you thinking this is going to rear its ugly head again, or like this is probably over with?
I'm thinking it's over with.
Right. Okay.
I'm thinking it's over with. And when they came knock on the door, the last thing on my mind was, the tweet about texting your vote.
Right.
Because that seemed to me obviously such free speech.
Right.
I mean, why can't I post a parody of a Hillary Clinton ad on the internet?
Right.
Especially, some people might print this out and send it to actual voters' houses or actually pay for ads targeting them. Well, this was none of that. This was just posting a meme that my friends would see.
Yeah.
And think was funny.
It's one guy.
Exactly.
At home post. How old are you at this? In 2016, how old are you?
20. I would have been 27.
So you're 27. You're living down here in Florida. You got away from the Northeast. You got roommates. You're a young guy. You're living on your own. And you're married at the time.
So I was in Manhattan at the time, 2016.
Okay.
With a roommate.
Okay.
2018, moved down to Florida.
Right.
Where I had roommates.
Okay.
So then I was down in Florida at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, just a young guy.
So let me ask you about, and we'll get it, and then we're going to come back because the FBI is coming back for you.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to get to that in a minute, but give me a little bit of let's learn a bit about like where'd you grow up?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born in D.C.
Yeah.
Where my parents met.
Yeah.
They were both from Vermont.
Right.
However, they were my My dad was working for a senator at the time.
Okay.
And my mom was visiting her brother, who's also working for the same senator.
Are your
then
parents
Vermont.
politically minded? They sound like it. I mean, they were in the political business.
So not overwhelming. They're not like really political,
Right.
let's say. Like they're pretty down the middle,
Right.
let's say. And they're not overly wrapped around the axle for one party or the other.
Right.
So, but at the time, this was sort of like a good time to be in, I guess, D.C. So basically, I was born there, but almost immediately after, my parents wanted to get out of D.C. because the crime was going crazy.
Right.
So we moved to Colorado.
Okay.
So in the 90s, I was raised in Colorado.
Right.
In around 2000 is when they wanted to move back home to be close to family, to Vermont.
Okay.
So we moved back to Vermont, which is where I spent my middle school, high school, and I went to college there in Middlebury, Vermont, Middlebury College.
Okay. I want to get to Middlebury in a minute, but you were interested in politics. Probably were you more right leaning? Like I grew up with a New York cop. He was conservative. He was an Irish orphan from Hell's Kitchen, pulled himself up by the bootstraps. That whole story. Definitely leaned right. I'm on a political talk show. I do a podcast. This thing leans right. I've always been that way. So were you a little more politically motivated than your parents?
Yeah, I would say I was.
Or what? But part of it was you like goofing around online, like a lot of young people do, and you put funny stuff out there. It's not what everyone does every day.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, you go back far enough. I was a voracious reader, so I was reading the newspaper in the early 2000s. So I was actually more on the left side.
Okay.
When I was very young.
Right.
And as I grew older, went through college,
Yeah.
I was shifting over towards the other side.
Things started not making sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And now, I mean, if you every 5 years it seems, and that the left is making less, they're just becoming more insane. That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
But in 2016, the left wasn't as insane as they are today.
No.
It seems to be a thing where the left keeps going so far left they're about to fall off the cliff. So Middlebury, you went to Middlebury College, and everyone should know Middlebury is a very left-leaning institution.
Yeah.
But you probably liked it there, right? Nice school, very historic.
Great school.
Very well ranked, highly ranked. Considered also very, very woke in the modern age today.
Beautiful
and probably when
campus.
you were there. And it's a great school. Academically,
Great school.
You're no dummy going there, that's for sure. You got to have the grades.
I graduated 2011.
Right.
And it was left-leaning. It was Democrat. I wouldn't even call it woke. There was not this fixation with politics.
Yeah.
The woke was only like 1% of the school, or 5% at most.
Yeah.
It did not dominate the school at all. There was not all this talk about pronouns and all that stuff,
right?
Or protests and all that. People were excited when Barack Obama won the election in 2008.
Right.
And
Makes sense.
And they were Democrats. They were on the left, but there was not this woke obsession.
Yeah. Well, it's now, and because I love looking at liberal arts. I went to a small liberal arts college, Gettysburg. The moving left, like we were just saying a minute ago, every year it's like accelerating how further left they're going. I would think that the Trump movement is tampering it a little, but that would be being. I'm probably overstating that. I don't really know if that's really occurring, but the whole Northeast, the liberal, and they're going to pay a price for it because so many kids are coming down to school at the big schools down south. They're going out west. And the worst thing is not even the wokeness; it's the control of the administration. They kill the fraternity systems. They shut them down because they want control. That is the nature of the left, to want control. So Middlebury, when you're going through this, are you hanging out with college friends who understand between 2016 and before you get arrested? Do any of your friends know you're going through this? And maybe some of your friends from college?
No, actually, the funny thing is, no.
You kept it all to yourself?
It's all to myself.
What about your parents?
No, they didn't know.
So you kept this all to yourself?
I was doxxed.
And that was in 2018?
Exactly.
Once, before you were doxxed and post-doxxed, how does it affect you?
So it was, at the time, a really rabid political environment, as you can imagine.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And this was the run up to the height of cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a sort of, I don't want to overblow it, but this was a big deal in the small like environment, let's say,
Yeah.
of Vermont, of Middlebury College as well. So this was sort of like a tempest in a teapot here. I mean,
And you're keeping it all to yourself.
So the Ricky Vaughn thing, I was keeping all to myself. Absolutely. Because, one thing that this political environment was becoming more and more stifling. I mean, whereas when I was in, I would say, college or high school, there wasn't this really overwhelming concern with politics.
Yeah.
There was maybe an understanding that the people had diversity of views.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but then it was becoming so stifling. And
Yeah.
especially, so I had, up to 2016, I was working in the private sector.
Yeah.
At a small economic consulting firm in New York City. Now, that was pretty, it was not like a rigid political environment. However, anytime this kind of thing, this controversy can affect your job, your career, of course. So by 2018, I was just about to move down to Florida.
And you're still working for this company in that does what was it?
So economic consulting.
Economic consulting.
Yeah, through 2016.
You were working with them in 2016.
Yeah.
And then who were you with between 2016 up to the doxing? You're with a different company at that point.
So I was trying to transition. I was trying to start my own business.
Gotcha. Okay.
This year, so I kind of I had
You're
like
doing
a part-time
an
gig.
entrepreneurial thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a part-time gig, a small part-time gig.
Right.
And 2018, when I got doxed, that was one of the catalysts for me moving down to Florida.
To get away from it.
Was getting doxed, to get away from
I
it.
get
Exactly.
it. I get
Start
it.
over.
You wouldn't get if it gets out. Well, it is out. It's on the internet. People aren't going to hire you.
Right.
You're going to have even family members and friends say, "Hey, well, he did this." That's,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Because the narrative is so twisted.
Yeah.
Twisted against you. So
the narrative and the pressure.
Yeah.
From whatever, the media, the press.
So 2018, you're doxxed and you can feel the heat now.
Oh yeah.
And you're down here in Florida, literally feel the heat from South
Florida.
Yeah. So let's get to January 26, 2021.
Yes.
Joe Biden has just won the election. And this is, I don't know, it must be after he takes office. What is it, within a week?
Exactly. So the timeline is like he gets inaugurated on the 20th, and on the 22nd, 2 days after the election, is when we know that the arrest warrant was signed. So they didn't waste any time. Whoever was whoever was put in charge of the DOJ. Yeah. We know from, at least if you want to trust the reporting, that the Trump DOJ looked at this case and said, this is not a real case. We're not going to prosecute this case. As soon as Bill Barr got out of the way and whoever else, the careerists were in charge of the DOJ until Biden put his people into place.
Got it.
They gave it the green light. 7 days, January 27th, 2021, is when I get the knock on the door, 7 a.m. FBI open up. That was the date of the arrest, 7 days after inauguration.
So I want to explain to the listeners. So when we're talking about the politics of life in this modern era, in our bureaucracy, there are the politics, just because the administration changes, there are people that have been appointed and have lifetime careers in the bureaucracy. If they're out for Doug, that doesn't go away. They're biding their time. Biding their time, waiting to get you. That's what I heard you just say. They're biding their time to get you. After Joe comes in, these bureaucrats in the Department of Justice say, "Get him."
Yes, exactly.
What happens? Where are you? And how does it go down?
So I was arrested, like I said, 7 in the morning, at my apartment in Delray Beach. At the time, I had roommates.
Yep.
And they had no idea what was going on.
Right.
The FBI comes in and says, "You're under arrest." The first words out of my mouth were, "For what?"
Right.
As I have no idea. And they don't even say.
But you had no idea, or you had an idea, you just wanted to hear them say it.
I had no idea.
You didn't think it was about the memes again?
No.
You just thought it all went away at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even with the doxing, it was like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, the doxing was bad because they put your name out there, but you kind of thought, okay, my name got out there, but no one's coming
There's no
to arrest
crimes.
me. Yeah.
There's nothing illegal, you
Right.
know, just, maybe some controversial stuff on Twitter is not a crime, of course. And so I have no idea. This, now, mind you, this is in the wake of this massive witch hunt had just launched to get the J6ers.
Right.
So I was not in D.C. for J6.
Right.
I didn't plan J6,
Right.
the protests. I really had nothing to do with the protests. So I'm thinking, why are they coming here to arrest me? I really had no idea. I was like,
But
I was
you did.
not.
You thought of January 6th. Like,
I thought
could
of
they have-
January 6th.
Like,
yeah.
could they have confused you with someone?
Exactly.
And because of your old memes against Hillary, like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy must have been there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like,
so
what's
there
going on
was
here?
something in your head saying, like, they're confusing me because of the meme, and maybe they think I was there because I was so anti-Democrat or
Right,
whatever.
exactly, exactly.
Okay, and how many agents show up?
So there were 2 agents from New York,
Yeah.
and there were 2 local agents.
Okay, so
from
4 agents.
West Palmer, Florida, whatever.
Right. They just show their
4 agents.
They just show their identification. They don't draw their weapons.
Yeah, they didn't draw their
Well,
weapons.
that's why they knew you weren't
I mean,
January 6th.
Yeah,
'cause
exactly.
It seemed like the January 6th guys had weapons
Oh yeah.
drawn.
If I was J6, they would have ransacked my
Yeah,
apartment.
yeah.
They would have had the SWAT team.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
So,
sense. Okay.
Yeah, they had those agents, and they had some local police as backup. You know, pretty standard
Okay.
protocol. Don't fault them for any of that, of course.
Right.
So they opened the door and said, you know, we have a warrant for your arrest, whatever. And it's funny, you know, they let you go back in there and use the restroom and put some clothes on because it's just 7 a.m. or 6:55 a.m.
Yeah. You're in your pajamas.
And you're in your pajamas, exactly. So it's like, all right, put some clothes on. Now, one thing that was kind of, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but it kind of was pretty tricky. They said, don't bring your phone
Right.
or your wallet because, you know, then it'll just take you longer to get out because they're
Right.
going to take your belongings, put them in a locker or whatever.
Right.
Then after you get arraigned, you're going to get it back. So they said, don't take that. I said, okay. They said, you know, can I get write down some phone numbers so I know
Right.
who to call.
Yeah.
So they write my roommates write down the phone numbers. The lady from New York just took the piece of paper. She didn't give it to me.
Right.
So I go to West Palm
Okay.
to the federal courthouse, and at this time was COVID.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, you got to wear a mask, all this stuff. I got the handcuffs.
Okay.
They're asking me biographical questions, whatever.
Right.
Not like not interrogating. Actually, let's go back. So then the agent says, I'm sitting there in the cruiser, the SUV, right?
Yeah.
It's like an unmarked FBI SUV in the back there, and the New York guys are handling the arrest, but they're not the case agents, so they're just doing the arrest part.
Right.
The lady comes over from New York and says, so are you ready
the
to talk?
FBI agent lady from New York
Exactly. The
Comes-
case agent.
comes over, the case agent.
Yeah,
And
Miss Megan Reese comes over and says, "Are you ready to talk?" I said, "No."
you don't even know what you've been arrested for yet.
Exactly.
Okay.
Are you ready to talk? As
Okay.
if this was like, as if I even knew this was a crime. I mean, come on,
Right.
give me a break. So of course, I'm not going to talk
Right.
without a lawyer. So I said no. So they, I'm sitting in the cruiser, the FBI SUV, on the way to West Palm. They're writing down, what's your height, what's your weight, whatever. And I look over the sheet and it says conspiracy against rights.
Oh,
so now I know. So now I have an idea of what the charge is.
Right. You were actually able to see that.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
looked over there and could see
But
it.
they're still not revealing. You're driving over now. They're not
Yeah,
revealing.
they
why
didn't
you're
show
under.
a. They
And you're
didn't-
not. You don't seem like the type who'd be yelling in the back of the police car. Because do they have
No.
you in an unmarked car or a
Yeah,
police
just like
car?
an unmarked
Yeah,
FBI
so
car.
you're handcuffed behind your back, not in front. I would assume.
They
right?
they did give me the courtesy of
front handcuffs.
front,
Okay, that's good.
so I could sip some water. Or
I
whatever.
like. I like that.
So-
It's harder when they're behind your back.
Yeah, so I can't fault the Florida guys. They were.
They kind of knew what they were.
Yeah.
The process was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They didn't come after me. Now, unfortunately, a few days before, one of those Florida FBI agents was shot by a pedophile trying to do an arrest. So they were maybe they were a little on edge, but they could see I was not a threat.
Oh, prior
Yeah, a few days before.
one of their coworkers.
Yeah,
or
unfortunately,
co-agents,
down there in
yeah,
South Florida.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So
maybe they were a little on edge, but they saw that it was not
Hey,
good.
yeah,
Right.
listen. There's no. I'm a big. I understand.
They want to go home.
They want to go home like
Yeah.
everyone else. Like walking up to people in a car.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, why is he like a dark car on a highway?
Yeah.
Man, that you talk about having a tough. That is definitely a tough job,
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt. But what are you thinking as you're driving to the West Palm? Like, are you, like, your personality seems very relaxed.
I'm very relaxed.
I would be like all fired up.
Yeah, I was fired up.
But you're not talking. You're just like, you kind of now, when you read that note, conspiracy, could you repeat that line again?
Conspiracy against rights.
Conspiracy against rights. Your mind's working now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're
I
a
have no idea what's
Middlebury
going on.
graduate. You're saying something's
What's the
going on here.
conspiracy against rights?
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. So, yeah, I'm not yelling and screaming or anything like that. I mean, I have like, my mind's set is like, I'm going to beat these people. Like a quiet, let's say, quiet defiance or sort of a cold anger.
Yeah, I'll
like a
keep,
quiet defiance.
Good. That's it.
I'm not. There's no point in fighting these guys. I mean, that's not the.
No, that's
the
a
beef.
lose. That's
Exactly.
That's a loser's choice right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So they take you down. How long they process you in West Palm Beach?
West Palm Beach.
And how? Now, do you have representation since the incident in 2018? Do you know?
No.
Oh my God, this is who I have to call.
No.
Okay, so you're ill prepared for that.
I'm not
because
prepared.
you never thought this would happen.
Exactly.
Okay, so
I don't have a lawyer on retainer.
Right,
or
or not
anything
even
like
on
that.
retainer. You don't even have a
Yeah, I don't
this
even have
is
like,
the
this
guy
yeah.
that I call when I
No.
I ever get jammed up by the feds because of some stupid meme I sent in
Yeah,
2016.
exactly.
So how long do they keep you?
So with the whole COVID and the delays, it seemed like 2 hours
Yeah.
in the holding cell. Maybe
Yeah.
it was 1 hour. There was one holding cell that was basically, illegal immigrants,
Mm-hmm.
for whatever. COVID was quiet, right? It was kind of quiet. So, and then my cell, you had a guy who was had violated probation or something of that nature. So
Okay.
this was who it was, those, illegal immigrants. And then in the other cell, me and the guy who violated probation. And he was a nice guy, but I was in the leg irons at this point. They give you to the U.S. Marshals. They put you in the leg irons.
Okay.
And I'm just waiting for my arraignment. So they send me into the room.
The courtroom?
No,
Okay.
because of COVID.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in there with the U.S. Marshal, and it's just like this little office, whatever. And I got a computer like this, looking at the computer.
Right.
There's the judge.
Oh, right. Okay.
I get a private call with my public defender.
Okay.
Before we talk to the judge. So I talk to the private defender. Here's what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Talk to the judge. He arraigns me.
Yeah.
And, it's very weird, like a Zoom call.
Yeah.
There's the prosecution in New York or whatever. I guess they were local.
Was the judge working from home or was he somewhere in the courthouse?
I think he was in his courtroom.
Right.
But it would have just been empty.
In the same courthouse that you're in.
I believe he was,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So people are learning something. This is how they did it in crazy COVID days.
I guess he was in there by himself with a
Okay.
computer or whatever.
So what is? Have you been able to make a phone call at this time?
No.
Okay.
No phone call. Just.
So you get arraigned before you're allowed to make the phone call, I assume.
I was arraigned. So they didn't really say, "Do you want a phone call?" I was arraigned, and they gave me the. I had the phone call was with the public defender essentially.
Right, and I'm assuming when were your Miranda rights read? You remember?
They didn't read me my Miranda rights because they didn't interview me.
Oh, they didn't even interview you, so they don't need to read you
Right.
the Miranda rights. That's
The lady
interesting.
said, "Are you ready to talk?"
Yeah.
Like, what kind of question is that?
Right.
And I said no.
And
So I suppose after that there was no
Okay, that's interesting.
Miranda rights.
I think we're learning something. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, and there's probably a law there that they don't have to because you're not going to talk anyway.
Right.
They don't have to warn you of your
they don't
Miranda
warn you
rights
unless they start interviewing you.
because you don't plan on telling them anything.
Exactly.
Okay, so after the judge goes through the arraignment process, I'm sure it's a lot of legalese jumble or whatever. At this point, do you know what you're charged with at the arraignment?
So yes, I believe so. But he just read the name of the statute.
Yeah, unless you're a lawyer, you'd have no idea.
Didn't mean anything to me.
Right.
I had no idea really what was going on.
Are you thinking the meme at this
No,
point?
no.
Still not thinking the meme.
Still not thinking the meme.
Wow. Okay. What happened?
So what happens is they slapped a copy of. So first of all, they said, okay, $50,000 signature bond. For those that don't know, all you have to do is sign your signature, and if you run away or whatever, they can try to seize $50,000 from you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was basically it. They said, Mr. Mackey has firearms in his house or something like that, and the judge is like, is there any indication that these are legal? It's like, and then the prosecutor was, oh no. So at that point they were like, yeah, you have to transfer your firearms to like a friend, let's say.
Okay.
Sign the $50,000 bond, and
let me ask the question again. The question was, someone asked the question, the judge asked the question, are the guns illegal? And the person answered,
the prosecutor was like, no.
No. Oh, he said no. Okay, good.
Yeah, the prosecutor
They probably
said no.
ran all your information before they came in.
Yeah, I mean, they the only reason they knew I had guns was that they asked, the FBI asked when they came in,
Right.
they were asked, do you have guns? I said, yeah, here they are.
Yeah.
So they just hold on to them while I'm getting dressed.
Okay.
So I don't, so they don't want me to run for the guns. It makes sense, but so they're like, oh, you have firearms, so you have to give up your firearms to a friend.
Okay.
Because it's a felony, right? It's a felony charge. The $50,000 signature bond, and then I have to, check in with the probation office the next day, whatever it was. And so they slap a copy of the criminal complaint in my hand. It's like 28 pages long, and that's when my curiosity was like at its maximum. I was so curious. I was reading that thing.
Yeah.
I want to see what they come up with, and I'm shocked when I'm reading it.
Now, are you reading this at home? Now, they let you walk. Do they let you walk that day?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get home after 7 in the morning. What time you get home that day?
No, they slap the criminal complaint in my hand. I'm reading it, and I'm still in the leg irons.
Oh, okay.
The lady's like, she's got to interrupt me. She's like, I'm trying to take you out of the leg irons here, the U.S. Marshal. So I get the leg irons off, and this is when what they did was really underhanded. Now, my roommates who had come to the courthouse, but they were waiting, and they didn't know what was happening.
Right.
So they eventually, I guess, they had no idea what was happening, so they left. So I get the criminal complaint, the leg irons come off. I'm in my sweatpants and like a t-shirt, and I have no cell phone, no wallet. I'm just sitting here in West Palm,
Yeah.
So I get out of the courthouse and I'm like, well, can I make a phone call? Blah blah blah. And they're like, well, basically they were making it difficult. So I was not really able to make a phone call. I see my buddy there from lockup, from the holding cell. And he's like, oh, yeah. I was like, hey, do you know like a good place to get a taxi? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going over to the train station.
Right.
So walk over to the train station,
Yeah, I know right where you are.
Oh, yeah. The drug dealer's like, oh, what do you want? I'm like, I'm not here for drugs, because I'm wearing like sweatpants and a T-shirt, and I'm walking to the train station.
But your wallet and phone were left back at the
my apartment, yeah.
Okay.
So I had no way. So I hail a cab, and 20 miles. It's 20 miles from the house, I'm not going to walk home.
Right.
So I hail a cab, we go there, and I have to go in, get my wallet, go to the ATM, and pay the cab.
Pay the cab. So now,
exactly.
So now you're back home.
Yeah.
You've been able to read the documents they gave you. So now you know.
Now I know.
Now you know.
Now I know.
So the next now, do you share this with family and everything?
Oh yeah, everybody pretty much. Well, I don't know if I told them first or they heard about it first, but
did they put it on the news?
This was on the news, but maybe this was on the news.
National or local?
This was national news. Yeah, this is national news.
So you made national news. So
this
now
was on Rachel Maddow.
So something you've kept private to yourself. This is the first time where...
Well, it was already doxxed.
No, you were doxxed. Yeah, but that's different now that you're arrested.
The arrest was...
Yeah, because some people even in your family world or friend world or the Middlebury College world,
Yeah.
just because you were doxxed wouldn't necessarily mean everyone saw that information, right?
Exactly.
But now
Yeah.
that you've been arrested, that's a bigger deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my next question is, now you're going to lawyer up, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so now you've secured a lawyer. When do they come back for you now to bring you? Like, I'm confused.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
now you're going to end up in New York. So how do you end up in New York? You're out of jail.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're only in for the day.
Yeah.
They've given you your charges. You know what you're charged with. Now you secure an attorney. Do you secure one down here, or do you secure one in New York?
I hired one in New York.
And did you know you were going to be on your way to New York? Because someone told you that? Or?
So it's funny how it worked out with the whole COVID situation.
Yeah.
So first of all, the first question is fighting extradition.
Okay.
And we're talking about public defender. My public defender hands the case over to the attorney that I retained, which,
Yep.
by the way, I was starting a business. I didn't have any money, so I fortunately had somebody give me money just to retain an attorney.
Get an attorney.
Yeah. So I'm like, how the heck am I going to pay for this? So, so they hand it off to the attorney. Now we say, okay, let's not fight extradition. However, in a certain sense, it might have been interesting to fight extradition, because then they would have had to bring their witnesses down to Florida,
And that's a cost.
and that costs them,
And it's
and
a headache.
it gives us a heads
Time.
up
Yeah.
of what their case is going to be.
Oh, okay. So there's a
Yeah.
legal strategy to
Yeah,
that.
there's a legal strategy.
You know, in the when you were arrested and arraigned, was it always planned that they would try this in New York?
Yeah.
And why were the FBI agents from the Florida office or the New York office?
New York.
So they
Yeah.
want you in New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
So
do they is that normal in the sense?
yeah.
Where did you send the meme from? What
So
state?
I was in Manhattan.
when you sent the meme.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives them the reason to bring you to New York. My question is,
Exactly.
if it wasn't as a highly political time that it was, and you got the DOJ
Yeah.
coming after you, but even if the DOJ had some type of charge against you, and not in such a hot political
Yeah.
climate, would they have let the Florida courts deal with you, or
No.
they have to bring you to New York because you did it from Manhattan?
They would have to bring them to New York, but but we can
Okay,
get
you're
into that later.
educating
They actually rigged the jurisdiction. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Manhattan and Brooklyn are two different jurisdictions.
Right. Okay.
SDNY, EDNY.
Yes.
This case was not brought by the SDNY, even though I was in that district,
Okay.
and they knew it. They brought this case in EDNY for reasons we can get into.
Okay, well, give me
Yeah.
those reasons, like just two simple reasons, and I'll take a guess at it.
Yeah.
That the Eastern, they had more favorable judges. That the Southern District in New York, the judge might be like, "This is ridiculous." The Eastern District, they knew they had it locked in the bag because the judges are kind of political. Was what
Very
you're saying.
favorable judges,
Yeah,
favorable
left-leaning.
jury.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that the EDNY is sort of known as being glory chasers. So
This is a headline kind of.
they
case.
bring cases that have very, very tenuous connections to that jurisdiction. For example, if they can try a conspiracy case because you flew through JFK one time,
Right.
even though it's in Utah or whatever else. And so they will be very creative in how they find jurisdiction, because, of course, you have the right to be tried in the jurisdiction where they allege the crime was committed.
Okay.
So that's something that you can fight. And we
Right.
fought that.
Right.
We did fight that. And we still think we were right. It was never adjudicated because the judges threw the case out for something else.
Right.
But they really do chase glory in EDNY, and they try to bring headlines to themselves. Now, I can tell you that the Trump DOJ actually put out a memo saying we're going to focus on real crimes, not about these convoluted, novel white-collar prosecutions so that prosecutors can get in the news.
Right.
Like, a lot of these type of cases in EDNY and SDNY.
Right.
So
But-
they're chasing glory.
And they're chasing it again because Trump put out that edict or whatever in 2016. It's now there's a new sheriff in town. But,
Oh, this was actually more recent.
Oh,
This was for the second term.
Oh, this
Pam
is
Bondi.
Oh,
put
this
the
is
memo
new.
out.
Okay,
Yeah, this
so
is a
this
new
might
memo.
have right. So
Exactly.
but we never assumed the Trump DOJ would have come after if it was led by.
No.
Yeah, because they didn't.
They didn't come after me, and
Right.
so according to Reuters reporting that there was a debate within DOJ, and basically they were saying, first of all, we can't prove intent in this kind of a case. How do you know? Like, that's the whole defense. Is the
Right.
intent to trick voters, or is the intent to post something that's funny?
Right.
So first of all, they said we can't prove intent. Number two, it's obviously infringing on free speech.
Right.
So,
it's a big free speech case.
Exactly.
So you do go to trial in the Southern District.
EDNY,
right?
Eastern
District.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So they put you on trial. Is it a jury trial, or the trial is just in
Yeah,
front of
we
a judge?
exercise the right to a jury trial.
Okay, and the jury trial. How long did the trial last?
So we had some little funny things happen during the trial that extended it. Now the trial itself was fairly short, but but it happened. It was over the course of like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Because we did the jury selection, and then we accused the government of withholding evidence.
Right.
They took a break for like 2 or 3 days.
Right.
And then restarted the case.
Okay.
The trial, the evidence, and the defense, the prosecution and the defense presentations was only like 3-4 days.
Okay.
But then the jury deliberated for 3-4 days.
Wow.
They deliberated the whole week.
That seems like long for a case like
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Because
it's one charge. They're not pouring through 100 charges. They're looking at one charge, and they deliberated for 4.5 days.
So they took it very seriously, obviously.
They did, yeah, they did.
They took it very seriously.
And there was a strong case to be made for acquittal.
Right.
And they were making the case. And, of course, in the end, on Friday afternoon or after lunch, they came around to the same page.
Meaning?
Conviction.
They came with the conviction.
Conviction, yeah.
But they must have been arguing for 3
or
4 days.
Yeah, I mean, we have some insight into the jury because, sometimes lawyers can get jurors to talk to them after the fact, say, hey, what happened? How did this happen? How did that happen?
It seems like it, and we're not going to go into the weeds on how complicated the law is on this. There's some sophisticated things in your case.
Yeah.
Sophisticated in the sense that once you start twisting the law to prosecute someone, trying to untwist it, you need a legal mind to untwist it. So
unfortunately, the sophisticated jurors, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, they were on my side. You know why? Because the unsophisticated ones are the ones that won't budge.
Right.
They don't look at the law.
Right.
And look.
But do you need did they all
you
have
need a unanimous.
You need a unanimous
vote.
Okay, so they give you a unanimous conviction.
Conviction, yeah.
When you hear it, are you surprised?
A little surprised. I thought it was going to hang or be a conviction.
Okay.
I knew that in that jurisdiction,
at that time, a hung jury would have been a great
And
then they say, is it worth the cost to bring it back to do it again? Okay.
No, they said they were going to because my attorney talked to them. I'll tell you about that. So this was 2023. This was probably the worst time to be a Trump supporter. And they were throwing everything at Trump. And they were saying, are they going to indict Trump? Are they going to indict Trump? They indicted Trump right before my trial.
Right.
So to be a Trump supporter, they were treating you worse than dirt.
I get it.
We knew there was not going to be an acquittal.
Because they listen to the media. They're in New York. Trump is evil, and this is one of Trump's guys.
Exactly.
For sending memes.
Exactly.
Oh my! You talk about.
Yeah.
You talk about a deep, I don't want to even say deep state. It is deep state.
Yeah.
Because they're doing what they're doing to you and Trump. It's insanity. So when you get this ruling, when they find you guilty, is your immediate reaction, oh my God, I'm going to jail?
Not necessarily. Although, I think
because there's always an appeal. I understand
the
that,
appeal,
but what about in your gut?
I didn't think So it's funny you asked that. Of course, I thought that maybe I'll go to jail after the appeal.
Yeah.
If I lose, and I would say this too: if Trump loses the election, then there's a chance I'm actually going to go to prison, federal prison.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. Of course, with the sentencing, we had a whole post-trial motion, which ultimately the arguments that we made in the post-trial motion won. And the judge just dismissed our arguments, and honestly, her opinion didn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, our arguments made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Her decision didn't make a lot of sense. And there were some delays as we did the post-trial briefing.
So in the post-trial briefing,
Yeah.
with the judge's comments or opinion, whatever, if
Yes, her
it's
decision.
written or her decision,
Written.
the good thing is it's going to go to an appeal court
Yes.
with another judge who's going to look at it and say, because you feel it's so weak,
Yeah.
your counsel feels it weak, they're going to say, this thing's never going to stand. Is that what they're telling you?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. We're
Yeah.
thinking, so the thinking is we don't know when we're going to win this case, but we feel like we're going to win this case.
Eventually. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
God forbid, we have to go to the Supreme Court because you
Right.
can imagine the time and the expense.
Yeah.
So from conviction to sentencing is about 6 months with the
Okay.
delays because we write a pretty complicated brief.
Yeah.
The government
Has to
has to
respond.
write, but this is not like
Yeah.
a simple drug case or
Yeah.
whatever. So, of course, we post-trial motions, for those who don't know, you're saying that the jury made the wrong decision and that the judge should overrule the jury
Right.
and say, I'm judging you not guilty because the jury should not have come to that conclusion.
And
It's
the
a high
judge-
ar.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you were asking.
That's what we're asking.
That's what you're asking.
Absolutely. That's the prelude to the appeal.
Okay, so when it gets to appeal,
Yeah.
now are they trying to put you in prison?
Now I'll tell you
right
about the
now?
sentencing.
Yeah, the sentencing.
Yeah, let's get to the sentencing. Was crazy. I mean, the trial was horrible. 3
Right.
weeks of that.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap to be in New York City. I'm staying in Wall Street,
Yeah.
a financial district, and taking the train over because the Brooklyn courthouse is right there
Right.
on the other side. You stay in this little apartment,
Yeah.
eating way too expensive meals.
Yeah.
It's New York. It's not cheap,
Yeah.
and it's sort of it's March. It's
And
miserable.
what should have taken 5 days is taken 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, it kept dragging on and on.
Okay,
The
so you're
expense of
running
that.
you're running up a big bill.
Yeah,
Um.
I testified at trial,
Okay.
which doesn't happen too often.
And how'd you do?
Well, I thought I did well. Of course, the jury came out conviction. Ultimately, my testimony actually helped win the appeal, believe it or
Okay.
not. So actually, it was the right decision.
Okay, because it helped win the appeal.
Didn't seem like it at first. Actually, I felt like it was the right decision because
Right.
one of the reasons the jury almost hung was because of my testimony.
Okay, so let's go to
Yeah.
let's go to the sentencing.
Yeah.
So how quick is the sentencing after the trial?
So it took 6 months because of, like I said, all
the appeals,
that briefing.
yeah,
It kept getting pushed back.
Yeah.
And we have to do a PSR, which is a
Well,
something.
people won't even know what
Yeah,
that is.
so they're saying, here's what the government says. The government has an opinion, the probation office has an opinion, and we have an opinion.
Yeah.
So the probation office, a funny thing, they're recommending, the standard guidelines of prison, like 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, 6 to 12, let's say. So is the government. Now the probation office says, when you get out, we want to monitor your devices. And it said, since when do you monitor someone's devices on this kind of a case, free speech case?
Yeah.
This is not child pornography.
Yeah.
This is not computer fraud.
Yeah.
It's just a meme being posted on the internet. So they want to monitor. So, oh, great. So I'm going to go to prison. Then I'm going to have for 2 years to have my devices monitored by probation. Now, I got to give the prosecution credit, which I don't want to. And I got to give the judge credit, which I don't want to. They were like, no, we don't want that.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going all out.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So what was your sentence?
So the sentence was 7 months.
7 months.
7 months federal prison, 2 years probation, and $15,000 fine.
Was the 7 months that you would go after the appeal was heard, or?
Yeah, so the judge tried to put me in prison. Now, because I was not violent, I was not a threat,
Right.
I was not a flight risk, they don't remand you right away.
Right.
It's not like you get the sentencing, they come and slap the cuffs on you.
Right. Which
they
you
take
do
you to
see
prison.
in court, but that's not in this case.
Not in this case, yeah. That'd be like for a murder or something. So in my case, she says, okay, well, we'll let you report after the holidays. So January 18th, 2024 is my report date. The BOP is going to look at my case and say, all right, we're sending you here. You have to report to this prison January 18th, 2024. And my attorney says, given the obvious constitutional questions, not to mention evidentiary issues with this case, and we accused the prosecution of all types of shenanigans. Besides that, we are moving for an appeal bond. We thought it was routine. Like the judge is going to say, okay, we'll give you the appeal bond. And of course,
an appeal bond is to say, listen, we're not going to put Doug in prison until we're going to be fair. Let the appeal go through.
Exactly.
And when he loses,
right.
When he loses, then we'll put him in for the 7 months.
That's right.
But you're saying the judge didn't want to do that.
The judge looked at the prosecution. They said, oh, and they came up with some reason why they didn't want it.
Meaning they wanted to put you in jail.
They wanted to
soon.
put me in prison.
Yeah, because then you would serve your term, and then you went on appeal, but they already locked you up.
Exactly.
So that's how vindictive they were.
That was very vindictive. And, a lot of it seemed like they were just trying to, save face. It seemed like they were trying to save face because they don't want to say, oh, well, yeah, I guess our prosecution is weak, so he should have an appeal bond, even though the law in that circuit, I won't bore people, but the law basically said you are entitled to an appeal bond.
Right.
If you meet these requirements,
and we
met the requirements easily.
And in the end, you got the appeal bond.
In the end, we got the appeal
bond.
bond.
But the fact that they wanted to kind of really...
Oh, the judge denied it.
Okay.
We went to the appeals court just for the bond.
For the bond, and you won there.
We won.
Why was she so vindictive?
She had put out the previous day.
Is it all about her career?
It's more about her. It was saving face for her too because she ruled against us every step of the way. The day before, she put out a 50-page decision denying our post-trial motions, and like I said, it was pretty weak. It wasn't a great legal brief, So, but she didn't want to admit that it was not a great case. She didn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
And she's a Democrat.
Right. Okay.
And she's appointed by Obama.
Yeah. It all lines up perfectly.
Exactly. So like I say, the government doesn't want to admit their case is weak. The judge, okay, we're denying summarily, like no briefing, nothing, just deny.
My dad would always tell us about everything. And actually, I've owned 2 companies, and it's like you never want to get caught up with the system.
No.
Like in anything. Taxes, like I tell my kid, taxes, you got caught up in the system because of a meme.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so absurd. But once the system gets their claws into you, it's never really about you. That judge was about her career, about her not looking bad. And if you got to go sit in the can for 7 months, and then they let you out because you win the appeal, they can't give you the 7 months back, right?
No, they can't.
But does that set them up for any type of? Is there anything that you can, when that happens? Say that it did happen to you. How long? Well, let me ask you this: how long did the appeal take before it was heard?
So they actually agreed to hear the appeal quickly. It was like this. The timeline was like this. We submitted our briefs by January.
Right.
Of 2024. After the appeals court said, you can have your bond.
Yeah.
Then they said, but we want you to submit your briefs in like 1 month.
Okay.
Which is fine, plenty of time. We submit the briefs. They schedule a hearing for April 2024.
Okay.
So it seems like it's being expedited, moving along quickly, right? That decision did not come down for 13 months after the oral arguments in April 2024.
So it was possible if you didn't win the appeal bond, you would have sat in prison for the 7 months or 3.5 months getting out for good whatever. But there was a good chance you could have went to jail.
Oh, I would have served the whole entire sentence.
Yeah.
The appeals were 15 months.
Out. Okay.
It was August. It would have been a whole year.
So you go to the appeal. So what is an appeal? Is that just, that doesn't mean you're living in a hotel downtown New York waiting, right? That's just being seen by the judges to review it and make a decision. Is that how it works?
Exactly. They review it.
And have you come back to Florida?
I'm back in Florida. I'm living, now I go through my, you want to hear about the personal costs of some of these prosecutions. During the trial, well, first of all, my fiance and I got married in January of 23 because we said we can't wait for this criminal case. We could be old men and women by the time this is over. Yeah. So we finally set the wedding date, which was January 2023, and then we get the trial date, March 2023. So there's the honeymoon in New York.
Wow. And I the kind of the emotional.
Actually,
you have a good wife. She's sticking with you.
Yeah,
getting married.
She's stuck
like
with me,
what a headache.
I told her, hey, look, if you don't want to go through this, now is the time.
Yeah.
To break off.
And you have kids now too, right?
Now we have a son.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm just thinking of forget the financial. Well, not forget it. and we're going to talk about your financial costs.
Yeah.
The financial cost, the emotional cost, the cost to your reputation over something that is so ridiculous. But it is it's a good example of what the government and bureaucrats and the legal system can do to you. And that's and let me tell you, I'm not just talking about the meme. There's people that have committed petty crime that they didn't commit, and they got railroad.
Yeah. Like, absolutely.
You know why? Because whatever government touches, and that's why I'm very sensitive when you have to have a good jury and a good judge. Not everyone who did something is guilty. Right. I do not believe that. Matter of fact, I don't like electing prosecutors. Yeah. Because they try to work that law where there's no gray area. Exactly. But wow, you're a perfect. I mean, your case is a perfect example of being. Should never even have been charged. I was about to say overcharged. This is this is absurd. But so it goes to the appeal. You get off on appeal. And how are you? How are you notified? Your lawyer calls you up.
Yeah,
the judge calls you. Who calls you?
So July 9th of this year. I was on vacation. We were on vacation. My family's on vacation visiting.
July 9th of
my parents this year.
Okay.
25. So I was in Vermont for the vacation. First day of vacation, like I came in the last night on a plane. Wake up, first day of vacation. Around 10 o'clock, my lawyer just sends me a text message. She's like, congratulations. So I was like, I called him. I was like, what happened? I thought I knew what happened, but I didn't know for certain. And he's like, yeah, you won the appeal.
So when was this appeal? Let's the timeline.
Yeah.
2016 is when the memes are going out. The charge happens by the Biden DOJ in 2021 after Trump leaves. So then you go into 2020. They come after you in 2021.
Yep.
You go through everything we just discussed. So when do you get this appeal decision?
So conviction 2023, sentencing 2023, appeal early 2024, January.
January of 2024.
Oral arguments April 2024.
Yeah.
And then the appeal July 2025. So 15 months later.
So July 2025. You just got this.
Yeah.
My timeline's off now until you just did that. So now the listeners know. So this burden that was thrown on top of you by Joe Biden's DOJ and is it all just ended in 2025.
Yeah. Now get this. This actually ended last month. Because from the time you win the appeal to the time that the district court issues, in my case, the judgment, which is acquittal, was 2 months. So September 23rd, 2025 was when I finally get the piece of paper that says you were acquitted.
Wow. There were some people in the public that came out for your support. And I don't know if this is true. This stuff I just read, I looked up online. Elon Musk called your prosecution over the top. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. And did he post that on
X?
On X.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan joked that if people got duped by a meme, they shouldn't vote anyway.
Yeah.
Which is the truth. Anyone, and especially in 2016, and I'll tell you why. Because we didn't have all the mail-in ballots.
Exactly.
The elections, unless you were serving overseas or whatever. In 2016, everyone knew 99% of the people went to their voting precinct and they casted their vote.
Exactly.
Nowadays, it might be more confusing because it seems like people are just like, it seems like people could just text their vote.
Yeah,
the way
absolutely.
They do it. There were the boxes in 2020 because of the COVID.
The mailboxes.
So the mailboxes. So, any other public figures rally for you?
Absolutely. The President
Trump.
President Trump himself.
What did he say?
He said they're trying to put Douglas Mackey in jail for a meme. It's completely absurd. He put out a whole statement, a video statement, and this was in 2023, I believe. And, in 2023, he was plotting his comeback. He was not the most popular man in the world at the time. And so it was huge when he came out with that statement. I believe that was 2023. Donald Trump Jr.
Don Jr., okay.
Don Jr. Then at the time, Senator J.D. Vance, Marjorie Taylor Greene actually sent a letter to the DOJ.
Right.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene was great, and there's a couple others that I'm probably forgetting now, but
Well, there's some power players that that you just named. I mean,
yeah,
so you did have people that noticed your case, knew you were railroaded,
yeah,
and they spoke up for you. That's and you know what? I actually think MAGA would be. I think the old Republican Party. Well, if you got caught up in that, you go to jail.
Yeah,
No big deal. But I think with MAGA, there is a loyalty because we understand the fight and we understand how the system will screw you by the left because that's who's doing it. You talk about, and I was going to bring up the no kings thing, but that's a waste of time. But you want to talk about kings coming in and say, chop his head off.
Yeah.
That's what kings do, and we don't have that with Trump. He fights everything in the courts, as did you. He fights every executive order he puts in. He goes to the courts and fights it. But I like that Joe Rogan said something, and Elon Musk.
And Tucker Carlson was huge.
Tucker Carlson too.
He was one of the biggest.
That's good that they stepped up for you. So the cost of all this, what if you had to estimate, what did it cost you?
So it's funny you asked that. We filed a tort with the DOJ demanding, compensation,
right?
Restitution. So if we're just talking about the lawyer fees strictly, that's over $2 million.
Wow.
Which I owe money on because we fundraised as much as we could.
Right.
And so I owe money on that. Over $2 million. I still owe money. And of course, if you're talking about all the other stuff, how do you even put a dollar amount on the reputation, the pain, the sort of the anxiety, and the sort of lost income opportunities? I mean, it's difficult even just to put a number on that. The cost to the family. Yeah. So on the eve of trial, I found out my wife was pregnant. In October 17th was the sentencing. Now, she was hospitalized October 9th for a difficult pregnancy. I flew out to New York on October 16th. So I had to leave the hospital where my wife was on October 16th. And as soon as I landed the jet plane in JFK or wherever, I get a phone call. And they say, we got to do the emergency C-section tonight, 8 p.m. And I'm like, well, I can't get on a plane to go back to Florida. So we just had to do the hearing, sentencing in the morning, whatever, 10 a.m. or whatever, and then jump on a plane afterwards and go home. Yeah. And my son was born, emergency C-section. And fortunately, my wife had some family there. Yeah. My mom was there.
So you missed it.
I missed it.
Yeah.
I missed it.
All over a meme.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've learned how cruel the system can be to somebody, especially coming from the left. You also learned, but I mean, you got to get a lot of wisdom out of something like that. Like, you could actually advise other people on how to deal with a crisis like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
and I'm talking to people now.
Yeah, you know what, I'll tell you what I admire. A lot of people who would go through what you did, which was, there's no doubt, traumatic, is I love the fact that you're still willing. You've been on the radio show. You were a guest on that. You've come here today. That you're willing to go out and tell people what they did to you.
Yes.
And you know what? A lot of people don't want to do that. They want to put it in their past.
Yes.
It takes a lot of guts to get out there and say, "Lay, I want you to know," because it could happen to you. And that's the big thing. It can happen to you. And that's how dangerous is unbridled political power when they come for you.
Absolutely.
But let me ask you this before we wrap up. You still must be doing some fundraising.
Yes.
Where can people reach you, or even if they want to donate to your cause? Because this is a cause you want to support. If you believe in free speech, you hear all these people getting upset because they're getting fired from their jobs and they're declaring, "Where's my free speech?" You don't have free speech with your boss when you start celebrating Charlie Kirk died. But your free speech and what you had to go through really was you were mistreated. Absolutely. So where can people reach you? Where can people help out with what you're probably still dealing with? Because I don't believe whatever you filed against the DOJ is going to kind of make you whole, correct?
Right.
Okay. So tell the
There's
listeners.
certainly no guarantee.
Yeah.
Although we are optimistic that this administration is really committed to fighting weaponization and lawfare. So we're still raising money to pay off all these lawyer fees at memedefensefund.com, which is tax deductible, MEME defensefund.com. You can reach me at Doug Mackey Case on X, at Doug Mackey Case. And I do have, let's say, a newsletter, which I probably should update, douglasmackey.substack.com.
Well, I want to thank Douglas Mackey, Doug Mackey, for being here today and telling his story. He's a brave man. He's been through hell, but he's standing tall and he's letting everybody know what happened to him. Doug, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.
Disclaimer. The host assumes no responsibility or liability for any errors or omissions in the content of this podcast. The information contained in this podcast is provided on an as-is basis, with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness.